Hello, everyone. As you may have noticed, the episode's a little shorter than expected. It's a gargantuan episode that we were working on with one of our longest sections to date of this book, and unfortunately, I wound up not feeling great over the past couple of weeks, and so editing had to take a back seat. So today, what I'm going to be giving you is kind of a preview of the next episode, which will be that gigantic discussion that has a lot of lore, has a lot of details, has Kvothe coming back to Severin, and all of that theory fodder around Maelwyn and the Aemir and Brayden and everything. Unfortunately, as much as I would have really loved to have had that out today, it wasn't in the cards, and I hope that you can understand. But, we're all Kingkiller fans here. We're used to waiting. Thank you ever so much for being a listener, for being a fan. We adore you, and if you want to talk to us or just kind of get a bunch of meme dumps, go ahead and check us out on our Discord. The link is in the description. And enjoy the little snippet of things that are kind of a teaser or a taster of what's to come in a couple of weeks. Thank you. Enjoy.
Welcome to Tales from the Waystone, a Kingkiller Chronicle reread podcast.
We are your hosts, Will and Phoenix. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Tales from the Waystone, Season 2, Episode 69. Nice. Well, if it isn't my old enemy, the consequences of my own choices, where we will be looking at chapters 137 through 139 of The Wise Man's Fear through the lens of heirlooms.
This is a very long section, and is it lore heavy?
It's dense.
Well, nothing for it. Let's get into things. But first, an explanation of the pod. Each week we'll be examining a section of the Wise Man's Fear through a chosen lens and figuring out what we can take from the text and apply to our real lives. We will also take some time to focus on a phronimos of the week, and then we will share a recommended thing of the week, and finally wrap things up with 7 words from the book and 7 words from our own lives. Before we begin, let's get some disclaimers out of the way. First of all, we are in no way affiliated with Patrick Rothfuss Stories Publisher Books. Second of all, we are going to just assume that you have read the books or you don't care about spoilers. Because A, spoilers. B, we are within spitting distance of the end of this book, and if you have been listening to us the whole entire time and you care about spoilers now,
that ship has sailed.
It's in the Grey Havens. Hi, Sokka. You're okay. I promise. Anywho. Also, a word to our community. Please be kind to yourselves, one another, and the creators of the worlds that we love exploring. And to people on Reddit who might disagree with you. And that's all I have to say about that. Anywho, let's get into it.
So yeah, we start off with chapter 137, questions. We kick off with Kvothe making haste all the way back to Severin.
He hires a cart to take him partway there. He has been trying to outrun the rumors, which is not necessarily rumors, that he murdered 9 people. And I maintain that murdering these people was not of the Lithani, and there's not really much that you can do to budge me off of that opinion. And so he has been less than thoughtful about his physical state. He is dirty, not even just dirty, filthy, and he smells, and he just feels like he needs, with a capital N, I'm so sorry. Our cat really, really, really wants attention. And I'm sorry, Sokka, but you're not getting it. Anyway, but Kvothe needs with a capital N to get in front of the story.
And perhaps more than that, when he really thinks about it in his heart of hearts, what he really feels like he needs is a bath.
Absolutely, but that's going to come later because there's a couple things that we should touch on before we get there. After 3 days of riding in a cart, he did arrive. He's exhausted because he's barely slept. Again, the smell is probably something that you could cut with a knife at this point.
Between human sweat and horse manure,
And cart.
it's pretty bad.
And then, on the way in, he sees the gibbet that Braden had told him about, which freaks him out even more, makes him think that he needs to make haste even more. And he, despite wanting desperately to go find Denna first, which...
Speaking of sailed ships.
And speaking of going anywhere at all when your smell precedes you, especially to the cute girl that you are crushing on, that you pissed off. Bad idea, Quoth. So he doesn't. This time he listens to himself and goes, no. He immediately goes to the mayor's estate. Like, that is his first stop of anything. I'm surprised the guards let him in. It's been months since he has been gone. But he immediately goes back to his rooms as though they're still his. Like, he owns the place. Which, surprisingly, are still his. And orders bathwater and sends a ring off to Stapes to let him know he's home. Maybe he should have waited till after he was, I don't know, bathed.
Yeah, that's sort of the crux of the matter, isn't it? Like, it's really important. I need to get a hold of you right now so I can take a bath first.
Well, right. So if he had taken a bath first, some of this wouldn't have happened the way it happened, right? He could have prepared himself and then at that point requested his audience with the mayor. Instead, essentially, he messaged Stapes, who is the manservant, I guess, quote,
the head of the household.
Head of household for the mayor. And that signals, hey, I need to talk to the mayor. I don't know. And then he doesn't immediately go to the mayor because, again, like, ripe. Absolutely ripe. And then he offends the mayor by saying, hey, I need an hour.
Yeah, the mayor is a busy man who has many people on his calendar. And so if he's made time for Kvothe at a given time, that's when he can fit him in. And trying to change all of that isn't just messing with the mayor's calendar, it's everybody who is also on the mayor's calendar.
I mean, there's that. There's also a little bit of time here for catching up with Stapes about what's been happening for the last few months while Quoth has been away. And big things have happened. Codicus was found and killed, not without injury to Dagon, who has lost an eye. The mayor and Maelwyn have gotten married. They were betrothed for all of 2 months, which, again, I can't actually fault this. A approximation of ye old medieval times. And some people that I know fell fast and hard and are definitely like, that was the right thing. And so, yes, there are definitely stories of people who fell fast and hard and probably ought not to have. There are definitely people that just jump into things and it's not a great idea, but there's also people that jump into things and it's the perfect idea. So, no fault.
I also think that because both Maelwyn and the mayor are a little older, they know themselves better, they know what they need in a partner, and they also know that politically this is very advantageous for both of them.
Also, there is societal pressure for them both to procreate. which there are rumors that they have already.
I'm sure there's also some biological pressures on that too.
Yeah, possibly. Anyway, Kvothe is like, okay, here's the mayor's lockbox. You can take it back with you. I need a bath. Stapes, I really, really can't possibly meet with the mayor in 15 minutes. It doesn't work that way. Smell me. And so Stapes tries to do the diplomatic thing of saying, I'll tell him you're otherwise occupied. And this is the one thing that I agree with Kvothe on. No. No obfuscation. Just tell him the truth. Now, we don't actually know what truth Stapes told, because it could just be, dude needed a bath. Or it could be, oh my god, dude needed a bath.
Yeah, there's room for emphasis, right?
Yeah. Also, he goes through all of the motions of getting cleaned finally. Buckets and buckets of water and ew. It's almost like the spirit that comes in, the stink spirit that comes in to Spirited Away, the bathhouse. And it turns out he's not that. That's what I'm getting, is just like the stink manifestation is just like ooze.
A little bit. I mean, frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if the mayor has not dealt with people who smell bad before.
Yeah.
He can probably handle it.
But Kvothe is trying to figure out what the lesser of two evils would be, right? Like, he's young, he doesn't truly understand the ways of the court. He thinks he does, but he doesn't get everything. And I think maybe we're spending a little too much time on this part, but
yeah, we can move on. So all he gets back after trying to put the mayor off is, await my summons. TBD.
So he's being punished. Let's be real here. He is being punished for his impudence of just being an upstart and saying, like, no, I need you to wait. Please wait on me. Please, no, I can't, not right now. And so that was more offensive than what Kvothe thought would be offensive. And now he's essentially trapped in his rooms again. And I can tell you that no matter how nicely appointed your rooms and how closely aligned the stuff in your room is to the things that you enjoy, that you love, that you want, that you find solace in, being trapped in it is not comforting.
Yeah, I mean, really what he's in right now is an on-call situation. He has to be able to respond to a summons at a moment's notice. So he always has to be chained to whatever the means of getting that call would be. In this case, it's waiting in his room.
And man, does that suck.
If you've ever worked an on-call job, you know what I'm talking about.
So he can't do much of anything other than invite people to his room so that he is available when he is summoned.
Fortunately, Braden's around and happy to kill some time playing tack and catching up on court gossip.
The gossip, especially.
So here's what we find out. The mayor and Maelwyn are besotted with one another, and many suspect a child may already be on the way. We also learn that the royal court in Rhaenyra is busy as Prince Regent Elatus was killed in a duel, sending much of the Southern Feral into chaos as various nobility do their best to capitalize on the death of such a highly ranked member of the court, and Ambrose gets one step closer to the throne.
No.
The mayor's men took care of some bandits off in a remote piece of the Eld that had been waylaying tax collectors. And there was rumor of a young man who'd gone to visit Felurian and come back more or less intact, though slightly fey around the edges. At least two of those are things that Kvothe has direct knowledge of.
Mm-hmm. And one of those is something that Braden almost certainly does if all of the fan theories are accurate. Because leader of said bandits, quote, bandits, is almost certainly Cinder, who is almost certainly
Braden.
Go figure. I don't know how much that's going to pan out, if it ever does, if we ever find out. But, direct knowledge and all that. The other thing is that the rumor of him going off into the Feywild and coming back mostly unscathed, is mostly accurate, which is unlikely that that would travel to Severin unembellished, right? Like it would be some other form of that story if Braden himself maybe hadn't been closer to the source.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting thought. And then there's this little exchange. We also played tack, of course, despite the fact that I had spent a long time away from the board. Braden said my playing was much improved. It seemed I was learning how to play a beautiful game. And I don't think that that has anything to do with the game in front of them. I think it has everything to do with Kvothe's response to being called out in both of those two instances where he doesn't acknowledge that that was him. I think that he's doing a better job of playing coy.
I think also what we're seeing here is Kvothe playing proper storybook hero. He basically has two heroic deeds to his name at this point, not just things that he's witnessed or something like that. This is him actually doing something like the protagonist of a story, not just necessarily going from point A to B. He kind of took the long way home, if you think about it. He didn't just take the direct route and go straight back as soon as he was done with the bandits. So I think that's also part of the lesson that Braden is trying to say here, right? The whole idea of the beautiful game is you do things that are fun and interesting and beautiful, not because they're effective or fast, but for their own sake. So, like, Kvothe went and hunted the bandits, and then once he was done with that, if he were the old Kvothe, he would have just come straight home, you know, gone right back to the mayor, completed the quest, got the reward, and then there you go.
Instead, he's starting to play his life, act in his life, the way I play Skyrim. Which is to say, I have yet to finish the main story quest, but I have played over 100 hours of Skyrim.
You've also done everything in your power not to play the main story quest.
Yeah, tomato, tomato. Ah, hair in my ear.
Oh no!